Voltaire, Candide. Dive into the intriguing and satirical world of Candide by Voltaire, where philosophical optimism is both examined and dismantled through a whirlwind of misadventures. This story takes readers on a journey, following the naive protagonist, Candide, as he navigates through a series of tumultuous events. Set against the backdrop of Europe and the mysterious realms of the New World, Candide's encounters highlight the flaws of unwavering optimism and blind adherence to philosophical doctrines. The tale skillfully weaves together themes of suffering, social and political critique, human cruelty, and the absurdities of institutions. Through the lens of satire, Voltaire invites you to ponder life's complexities and embrace a more grounded, pragmatic approach amidst chaos. This summary will unravel the core messages of the novel, presenting its enduring relevance and witty critique of 18th-century Europe's societal and philosophical norms.
Optimism meets reality. Candide, a young man living in the grand castle of Baron Thunder 10 Trunk in Westphalia, Germany, leads a life sheltered by the curtains of nobility. Whispers circulate that he is the illegitimate offspring of the Baron's sister, though he is accepted with polite indifference. His life is encompassed by the unwavering optimism of his mentor, Dr. Pangloss, who teaches him that this world is the best among all possibilities. Candide, with wide-eyed belief, absorbs these teachings completely, viewing Pangloss as the pinnacle of philosophical wisdom. Within the castle's walls, Candide's company consists of the imposing 350-pound Baroness and her 2 teenage offspring. Among them is Cundide, a pretty yet unremarkable presence, who, in a stroke of curiosity, attempts to explore love with Candide after witnessing Pangloss in a heated demonstration of natural philosophy with a servant named Paquette. Their brief dalliance is abruptly terminated when the Baron stumbles upon them in a discreet moment, resulting in Candide's swift expulsion from the only home he has known. Thrown into the world beyond the castle, Candide's optimistic ideals face a harsh awakening. Struggling with hunger and cold, he eventually reaches the town of Waldberghof-Trapdickdorf. Here, 2 amiable strangers extend food and drink, only to later deceive him into enlisting in the Bulgarian military. Candide's introduction to the brutal realities of military life is marked by physical punishment and a vicious battle against the Tatar army. As horrors mount and friends fall, Candide flees, haunted by images of destruction. His path crosses with a compassionate Anabaptist named James, who rescues him from despair. Yet, the road remains fraught with distress when he encounters a disfigured beggar whom he recognizes as Pangloss. Clad in misery, Pangloss shares the dreadful fate that befell their former lives. The castle was razed by Bulgarian forces, leaving no soul unharmed, including the unsuspecting Cundide. Though Pangloss narrowly escaped, he bears the marks of an incurable disease caught from his lover, Paquette. The news shatters Candide, as the illusion of Pangloss's perfect world crumbles amidst the series of miseries they both endure. Trials and triumph. In a twist of fate, Candide's journey intertwines with the ailing Pangloss, who is brought back to health under the care of James the Anabaptist. Pangloss, stripped of an ear and an eye, soon joins Candide and James on an unexpected trip to Lisbon. As their ship battles a fierce storm, philosophical debates arise about the nature of good and evil. Pangloss stubbornly asserts that even the gravest misfortune serves a greater good, but reality harshly contradicts his optimism. In the midst of the storm, James valiantly saves a sailor, only to be left to drown by the very man he rescued. Miraculously surviving the tempest, Candide and Pangloss find themselves in Lisbon, barely clinging to life on a ship's plank. But before they can catch their breath, an earthquake shatters the city. Struggling amidst the ruins, they subsist on scarce food scraps until the government, in a drastic bid to prevent further disasters, organizes a public execution targeting the enemies of the Spanish Inquisition. Candide and Pangloss, caught in this web, are condemned, Pangloss for his insistent philosophizing and Candide for merely listening. While Pangloss meets his end at the gallows, Candide suffers only a brutal flogging. Rescued by an enigmatic old woman, Candide recuperates under her care. His spirit is lifted when she guides him to a countryside mansion, where a miraculous reunion awaits. Inside, his beloved Cundand stands alive, having survived harrowing trials of her own. Once brutalized by Bulgarian soldiers, she became the captain's mistress, only to be sold to a Jewish man and whisked away to Lisbon. Intrigued by her beauty, the Grand Inquisitor insisted on sharing her, resulting in both men setting her up in a secluded mansion. Cundand had recognized Candide during the chaotic Autodaf, orchestrating his rescue through the mysterious old woman. Despite the dark sequence of events, Candide's unexpected reunion with Cundand lights a flicker of hope amidst the chaos and the relentless challenges of fate. Tumultuous Paths. A brief reunion turns catastrophic when Candide finds himself embroiled in violence once more. In a fit of desperation, he fatally defends himself against a furious Jewish businessman and then, in a panic-ridden moment, kills the Grand Inquisitor upon his unexpected arrival. Realizing the escalating danger, Candide, alongside Cundand and the old woman, decides that fleeing is their only option. Their escape to Cadiz, however, strips them of their wealth. Yet, opportunity arises when Candide demonstrates his military prowess, earning command of a Spanish troop bound for Paraguay to quell a native uprising. With Cundand and the old woman in tow, Candide embarks on the voyage. Amid the sea journey, the old woman recounts her tragic past. Once a princess in Palestrina, she endured unspeakable horrors, including the loss of loved ones, slavery, and brutal servitude to the very businessmen Candide had slain. As they dock in Buenos Aires, the travelers are ushered into the realm of a pompous governor, Don Fernando, who is captivated by Cundand and demands her hand in marriage. Candide, meanwhile, discovers the relentless Inquisition's pursuit and, heeding the old woman's advice, makes the heart-wrenching decision to flee for safety with his new ally, Cacambo. Determined to find refuge, Candide and Cacambo venture into the South American interior, aiming to join forces with Jesuits opposing their Spanish foes. In a twist of fate, Candide encounters Cundand's brother, young Baron Thunder Ten Tronc, miraculously alive and now a Jesuit leader. The reunion sours swiftly when Candide declares his intent to wed Cundand, meeting fierce opposition and attack from the Baron. In self-defense and anguish, Candide inadvertently takes another life. Donning the Baron's garb, Candide and Cacambo escape into the dense jungle's embrace, where they barely evade a perilous encounter with a local tribe. Pushing forward despite dwindling options, they opt to navigate the untamed waters in a canoe. However, chaos prevails as they are swept away by the current, ending in a tumultuous crash that leaves them unconscious. Amidst the unfolding chaos, Candide's path is fraught with treachery and unforeseen alliances, hinting at a destiny marred by uncertainty yet propelled by unwavering resolve. Pursuit of Paradise. Candide and Cacambo, upon awakening, find themselves in El Dorado, a utopian realm where streets gleam with precious stones and houses are adorned with gold and jewels. Here, harmony thrives on reason and mutual respect, devoid of strict laws or religious constraints. The welcoming inhabitants extend warmth, urging the visitors to remain in this hidden paradise. Yet, Candide's heart yearns for Cundand, compelling him to leave El Dorado. The king, puzzled by their desire for what they consider mere pebbles, gifts them 100 red-wooled sheep, each burdened with diamonds and treasure. Candide and Cacambo are euphoric, believing these riches will vanquish all woes. However, the jungles beyond prove relentless, and sheep are lost as they journey to the coast. In the Dutch colony of Suriname, Candide devises a plan. Cacambo will navigate to Buenos Aires to negotiate Cundand's release while Candide heads to Venice, anticipating their return. This plan falters when a Dutch slave owner dupes Candide, absconding with his fortune. Forced to seek a new partner, Candide encounters Martin, a skeptic convinced of the world's inherent evil in equal measure to its good. Their path leads to France, a nation Martin describes as preoccupied with love, slander, and nonsense. In Paris, Candide, recognized for his wealth, is surrounded by seemingly helpful people. An abbé tricks Candide, leading him to a brothel where he parts with 2 diamonds, and later writes a deceptive letter claiming Cunegond is in Paris, ailing. Attempting to visit her, Candide and Martin find themselves detained by a corrupt officer. Determined, Candide bribes his way to freedom. A brief stint in England proves unwelcoming, driving the pair onward to Italy. Here in Venice, they face disappointment. Cacambo and Cunegond are missing, leaving Candide with unfulfilled hopes and dreams. Yet, the journey underscores his resilience and profound quest for enduring love. Cultivating Candide's hope. Candide, undeterred by past trials, seeks to reaffirm his faith in optimism on the streets of Venice. When he and his pessimistic companion, Martin, encounter a seemingly blissful young couple, Candide bets their happiness will prove the validity of his ideals. Inviting them for dinner, he learns the woman is Paquette, once Pangloss's lover, now forced into a harsh life of prostitution. Her companion, a disheartened friar, shares her dispirited outlook. Candide then turns to Lord Pococurante, Venice's wealthiest man, to find happiness in material wealth, yet discovers only indifference in the man's opulent lifestyle. A twist of fate renews Candide's hope when, by chance, he finds Cacambo, an old friend who has become enslaved through numerous misfortunes. Cacambo reveals that Cunegond and the old woman reside in Constantinople, serving under a local prince. Heartened by this news, Candide buys Cacambo's freedom, and, along with Martin, sets off to rescue them. On their journey across the Bosporus, he encounters two slaves, the young Baron, who survived Candide's previous attack, and Pangloss, miraculously surviving his execution. Both were caught in Constantinople, leading to their enslavement, one for indecent exposure, the other for a harmless gesture of offering flowers. Candide liberates his old companions and, united, they reach Constantinople to rescue Cunegond and the old woman. To Candide's shock, Cunegond has grown unrecognizable with age and hardship, but he remains resolved to marry her despite her brother's continued opposition. Resolving to his own code of honor, Candide delivers the Baron back to his captors and purchases a modest farm. Life on the farm does not fulfill the dream of happiness. Cunegond becomes increasingly unpleasant, Cacambo toils without rest, and Pangloss, clinging to a philosophy he no longer believes, grows disillusioned. The old woman weakens further, while Martin alone seems resigned to his circumstances, believing them preferable to what they've experienced before. Together, they wade through their troubles, lamenting past trials and debating over who suffered most, leaving Candide's previous optimism to wane. An encounter with a serene Turkish farmer changes Candide's perspective. The farmer's contentment stems from simple, devoted work on his farm, caring for his family. Inspired, Candide embraces this newfound understanding, to cultivate his own garden and work diligently. Through this simple labor, he finally finds tranquility in tending to his own world. Candide's pragmatic journey. In Candide, Voltaire dismantles the lofty ideals of philosophical optimism, especially challenging Leibniz's belief that we inhabit the best of possible worlds. Through Candide's tumultuous adventures, Voltaire reveals the harsh realities of human suffering, from natural disasters like earthquakes to the brutalities of war and slavery. This narrative confronts the prevailing religious notion that all suffering is divinely ordained. Voltaire's sharp satire targets the hypocrisy and corruption within powerful institutions, including the Catholic Church in European monarchies, questioning their legitimacy. He spares no critique for his fellow Parisians, depicted as sly opportunists. As Candide navigates his harsh world, he evolves from a passive dreamer to a pragmatic actor, saving himself and others by embracing practical solutions. His journey leads to the famous realization that tending one's garden, or focusing on immediate, tangible efforts, holds more value than grand speculative philosophies. Voltaire advocates for a balanced outlook, rejecting both blind optimism and stark pessimism. By acknowledging life's imperfections, Candide inspires a worldview that seeks improvement within one's reach, urging readers to confront adversity with action rather than resignation.
Voltaire's Candide delivers a sharp critique of the over-reliance on optimistic philosophies, capturing the essence of 18th-century societal and philosophical dilemmas. The book serves as a mirror reflecting the absurdities of the time, from the brutality of war to the hypocrisy ingrained within political and religious institutions. Through Candide's journey, we are encouraged to question blind optimism and instead focus on realism and pragmatism. The novel concludes with the enduring lesson that true contentment lies in embracing practical actions, such as Candide's decision to cultivate his garden, symbolizing proactive engagement with the world. Voltaire's wisdom teaches us that while suffering is an inevitable aspect of life, empowerment and resilience can be achieved by taking control of our own circumstances, fostering a balanced outlook amidst life's uncertainties. This timeless narrative leaves readers pondering the fine line between hope and realism in their own lives.